Hello, this is CodeHunger, and today I'm going to show you how to recreate the Jarallax space scene. Okay, first you can download the source images in the description below. Before we start, we need to download Jarallax. It's important for this tutorial to download at least Jarallax version 0.2.1. I'm gonna save it in my tutorial folder. And we need to download jQuery. Again, we are going to create an HTML file and a CSS file. So main.css, and I'm gonna create, I don't want a folder, empty documents, space.html. Gonna set up the basics for my HTML file. So doc type HTML, closing HTML, head, body, indent this, script, source is Jarallax dash 0.2.1, close, right, type equals text slash JavaScript, and I need to import jQuery before Jarallax. jQuery version 1.7.1.min.js. I'm going to create my body now. Create a header 1. Put a text in it, head 1. Gonna create some more headers. Header 2. 3 times, and some paragraphs. And I need some placeholder text for the paragraphs. So I'll go to lorem ipsum, of Google for lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum. Again, generate some paragraphs. I don't need a lot of text, so I'm going to pick one paragraph and paste it between the paragraph tags. I also need to link the style sheet. Link style sheets. Type equals text dash CSS. Reference main.css. So our page should look like something like this. Next, we're gonna set the background. So we open up the CSS. Let's see, we have a background, a big moon and a small moon. So background dot big moon dot small moon. Again, they have all a position of fixed, so I'm going to combine all these classes and set the position property once. Position fixed. The background, let's see how big it is. I'm just gonna set the width to 100%. Width 100%, height 1500 pixels. And just gonna say top 0. The big moon. Right, I also have to set the background itself, the image. Background URL images / background dot JPEG. The big moon has a size of 356 pixels by 344 pixels. So width 356 pixels and height 344 pixels. And I'm gonna set, I'm going to center it. So left top 50%, and the background again is URL images big moon dot png. I'm going to repeat this for the small moon. The width is 204 pixels. The height is 183 pixels. Small moon. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it doesn't do anything because we didn't adjust the HTML. So I'm gonna add some few divs to contain the planets. Class equals. So I'm gonna copy these. Okay, that didn't go right. Background big underscore moon small underscore moon. Let's see how it looks. You can see now the plans. We have here some marginal padding from the body. I'm going to remove that. So I'm going to type body margin 0, padding 0. That should remove this white line. And somehow plans aren't centered. Let's see. Oh, I've got semicolon. Okay, they aren't really centered, so I'm gonna adjust the margins now. Margin top should be the half of the height. 372 pixels, and the margin left. It needs to be a minus in front of it. The width is 178 pixels, minus 158 pixels, I mean. Wait, I just did it wrong. It should be like this. Okay. And we adjust the margins of the small moon so that it's centered correctly. So it should be half of the height. That's 91 pixels, minus 91 pixels. And the width is 102 pixels, minus 102 pixels. Now the planets are perfectly centered. I'm going to give it a position now. I think left 70% and left 60% for the small moon. Okay, the big moon needs to be in front of the small moon. So I'm going to give the background a z-index of -2 pixels. The small moon a z-index of -1 pixels. And I'm not going to adjust the big moon. Somehow this isn't working. Let's see. Oh. No pixel units at the z-index. Okay. Now we can't read the text because it's a black text on a dark background, so we're gonna adjust the text now. Color white. Refresh. And I think I'm gonna move everything back some more so that the text is in front of the moons, of the background. -1, -2. So now the text in front of the planets. Also, I need some scrolling, so I'm gonna set a height of the body. Height, let's say 2000 pixels. Okay. The text is still scrolling, we don't want this. So I'm gonna give it also a position of fixed. H1, H2, P. Okay, the texts are now on top of each other, so we're gonna position those. H1 should be, let's say, top 50 pixels. Gonna give the width 600 pixels, text align, center, left 50%, and margin left to center it -300 pixels. Okay, heading 1 is now in the center. Heading 2, I'm gonna give a top, wait a minute, top 50 pixels. I'm gonna give it a top of 100 pixels. Again, a width of 600 pixels. Left of 50%. And the margin left of -300 pixels. And we're not going to text align it. See how it looks. Okay, the heading stays here, that's good. Now we're going to position the paragraphs. I'm thinking about a top of 170 pixels. Left 50%, a width of 400 pixels, and margin dash left of -200 pixels to center it. See, okay. Now our text is all placed. As you can see, we have defined 3 headers and 3 paragraphs, but we only see one because they are on top of each other. There's no problem for now. Now we're going to write some Jarallax script. First I have to close this one. I'm going to start scripts, close the scripts, type equals text slash JavaScript. Again, I'm going to define the function initialize. initialize equals function body on load equals initialize. And again, I'm gonna test it if it works. Alert, it works. I always test it because you can write a script and somehow can't find the bugs, and then you recognize it's just because you didn't initialize it correctly, made a typo somewhere. So test this. It works. Okay, the script is linked. And define Jarallax now. Jarallax equals new Jarallax. And I'm gonna add the planets. So let's say Jarallax dot add animation. Let's say the big moon. Dot big moon. Big underscore moon, comma, an array, some Jarallax keys, progress, let's say 0%, top, 120%, let's see, and when we are completely scrolled down, it's at the position of first progress 100 and position of -10. Let's see how it looks. If it works, it doesn't work. Let's see why it doesn't work. Couldn't get file Jarallax. That's right, because I don't know really. Jarallax. Oh, .js of course. And it works. I'm gonna set the default position of the planet because I don't want it to jump. See, the big moon has a top of how much? 120%. Now I'm gonna set the small moon. Let's say. So I'm gonna add another Jarallax animation. I'm gonna pick the small moon and at progress 0%. There's a position of 70% from the top, and at 100% it has a position of, let's say, 20%. Okay, I'm gonna scroll now. As we can see, the bigger planet scrolls much faster. Maybe the small planet should scroll a little bit slower. Let's see. Okay, this looks better. We also can scroll the background a little bit. Background, let's say usually it's top 0 pixels, and at 100% it's, let's say, -10 pixels. Refresh this. As you can see, the background slightly moves now. Okay, now we are going to animate the texts. Okay, and this is the hard part. First I'm going to animate header 1. So I'm going to add another Jarallax animation. Semicolon here. H1. Let's say, instead of using percentages, I'm now going to use numbers. This is a new version in Jarallax 0.2.1. So if you have Jarallax version 0.2, it won't work. So let's say progress 0, and here I'll say something like progress 10. Because progress 10 is the highest progress number we have now, progress 10 means 100%. And 0 is of course our start. Let's see, the top, our starting top position is H1 50 pixels, and when we move down, the top will be 0 pixels. Let's see how it looks. Yes, it's moving now. And we can adjust opacity. Opacity usually is 1. When we scroll down, it's going to be 0. So when we scroll down, heading 1 is fading out nicely. Next, I'm going to move all the header 2s. So I'm going to say Jarallax dot add animation, comma H2, comma an array, key progress. At progress, let's say progress 10. His left position should be something like, well, let's say minus 100%. I want to move it really quickly, so it needs a lot of distance. You probably won't see it, but it's a nice touch. And that's, I want to move it really quickly, so at progress 12, the left should be something like 50%, its original position. See how it looks. When I scroll down, heading 2 is moving, but heading 2 is still, before it gets animated, still sitting here, and I don't want that. So I'm going to set a Jarallax default value. A Jarallax default value basically means when an object is not animated, this value will be applied. I'm going to say Jarallax.add default. It's going to be for H2. It only needs one Jarallax key. So let's say display none, which makes it invisible. So when header 2 is not animated, it's invisible. So when I now move it, nothing happens. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh, it's not add default, it's set default. My bad. When I now move, you can't see header 2 because by default it is hidden. So if we look in our HTML, let's see, header 2 is this, display none. So in our Jarallax animation we have to display it again as block. I'm gonna move this one here. Display block. So I'm gonna refresh this page. We can see header 2. Because we now use progress 12, progress 12 is the maximum position of our animation. So if we use, for example, progress 100, 100 is the maximum position of our animation. So progress 10, which we use here, is only 10% of our complete animation. Let me show you this. So header 1 is moving really quickly, and header 2 is moving really slowly, because the main part of the animation is heading 2, between 10 and 100. We also can see heading 1 isn't really completely disappearing. So I could set a default for heading 1. It's basically the same as heading 2, display none. And I also have to add display block to the H1 to make it visible. So when we now move it, it completely disappears and head 2 moves in. I'm gonna set this value back to 12. Okay, I'm gonna show you the Jarallax page, demo again. Jarallax.com demo. Okay, you can see the text is moving in very quickly, then slowly moving and fading out. So we are going to do the same. I'm gonna add another key. Let's say progress 24, and it will have a left of 55%. Let's see how it looks. Oh, this is not the right page. Okay. Header 2 moves in. Oh, something's going wrong here. Okay, now I can't see header 2 at all. Let's see. Oh yeah. It's kind of crappy, but you need to define the display every frame, else it won't work. I probably will fix this in a future version of Jarallax. Let's see, header 2 comes in really quickly, maybe a little bit too quickly, so I'm gonna set minus 50% here. It moves in, then it moves really slowly, and it should fade out. Gonna add another animation to the H2 for fading out. And in this animation I will set the opacity. So on progress, let's say progress 20. We don't need to set the display block because it's already set. Opacity will be set to 1. And progress 24. The opacity will be set to 0. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it's now broken because I didn't close the Jarallax key. So when we move it now, header 1 fades out, header 2 moves in really quickly, and it fades out. Could make the moving of the header a little bit more slower. So I'll scroll down. Okay, now I'm gonna set the paragraph. So I'm gonna use some fading for this. Add an animation, paragraph, let's say progress, maybe 13, opacity is first 0, in 2 time units it will be 1, it's going to be displayed for a few seconds, and then it's going to fade out. So it's going to be displayed to, let's say, 18, I mean 28s. And it's gonna fade out at 30. So when I move this now. Okay, first we need to set the default for the paragraph as well. Also gonna set it display none. And which means I should say display block over here. Display block, display block, display block. So I'm gonna move it. Okay, I made a little mistake. The paragraph should be 10 units earlier. So I'm gonna move the scroll bar. Header 2 moves in, still really quickly. Text fades in, text fade out, and header 2 fades out. I could make the fading out process a little bit more slow. Okay, and now we're gonna set all our paragraphs and headers. So let's see, this is our header 2 and our paragraph. Let's set it for... first we need to add some classes. Class head 1, class head 2, class head 3. And I need to set some class for the paragraphs. Paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and paragraph 3. Now we can access the position of those headers and paragraphs. Header 1, header 2, and paragraph 1. Oh, this also needs to be header 1. Align these. Let's see how it looks. So we scroll down, we see head 1 disappearing, header 2 moves in, and they both fade out. Okay, now we can set the other headers and paragraphs as well. So head 2, paragraph 2, head 3, paragraph 3, and I'm going to add 10 time units to every animation. And I'm gonna add 20 units to these ones. 50, 50, 50, 30, 30. Wait a minute, that's not right. 40, 40, 40. Oh. Okay, I'm messing this up. 30, 30, 30, 40. Okay, that should be it. Let's take a look. So when we now scroll down, you see heading 2. Before heading 2 is gone, a new header appears, and a new header. And now you have recreated the space scene of Jarallax.